speaking of madness, I bought something a bit mad today.
Right, okay.
Would you like to guess what it was if I say...
A Mexican jumping bean.
Well, I was going to give you some clues because otherwise we could be here for a while.
I know.
It comes in a small, red, quite fancy-looking box. It is an old-fashioned thing. And
a condom.
Were I the age I act, it would be very apt to wear. On
condom.
On my waistcoat.
A pocket watch.
Well done, yes. Victorian gentlemen are very well known for keeping condoms on their waistcoats. Should a fine lady saunter down the aisle?
Good day to you.
As you can see, I practice safe sex, madam.
Oh, dear.
I just wanted to say I got a nice pocket watch and then you turned it into that.
You should have known that was going to happen. Or something like that was going to happen.
So now I'm going to walk around with a ye-old watch.
Why did you buy that? This is because that shop closed down, isn't it?
It is because the place where my sister works is closing down and everything was dirt cheap, yes.
Oh, dear.
But I saw it and liked it, but I wouldn't have bought it at the price it would have been. Let's just put it that way.
So you have ye oldie pocket watch. That was
I do.
Your New Year's present to yourself.
Yes it was. Which is nice.
I wonder how long it'll be before you lose it.
Oh, I don't have a waistcoat, so it's going to be very difficult.
You need to buy a waistcoat and a monocle and a top hat and a cane.
That's British, though. That's not really traditional Scottish. Traditional Scottish is to wear dress and headbutt people.
And eat sheep's insides.
Yeah, I've never eaten sheep's insides. I've never had haggis in my life.
I'm having it for my dinner tomorrow.
What does it taste of? Then
Haggis.
don't say insides of a sheep because I'm meaning comparatively.
It just tastes like spicy mince.
Sounds quite nice.
It is very nice.
I like spicy mince on a pizza.
You'd like haggis on a pizza then?
Can you get that?
Yes, you can get haggis pizzas.
There was someone on Dragon's Den last year that tried to make a haggis hot dog.
That would be alright.
Yeah, but the reason he didn't get investment was because basically anyone could do it. Just buy some haggis, put it into a hot dog shape. And then
We've got the best invention ever that anybody could possibly make. But then all inventions are something that somebody could have come up with.
That actually reminds me of something. I've been watching The Irish Apprentice because I've been bored. So I found that you can actually get the Irish and Australian versions of The Apprentice on YouTube.
I can just imagine the Australian was just full of inventive ways to open cans of beer.
Anyway,
I invented a boomerang that doesn't come back. It's a stick.
There's this task in the Irish one where they're working for some slimming company, and the product placement in that's almost as bad as the American one. The British one isn't so bad because it's on the BBC, so they're not allowed to do like endorsements, etc.
But they are now. They just have to warn you first.
They are now, but they have to warn. Yeah. But I mean, if you see the American one, it's. But this one,
they're working for a slimming company, so it'd be like, here, buy this shit a lot. It'll make you shit yourself thin.
They got tasked with making a new diet, and it couldn't be a fad. It just had to be a new fancy ass diet. And then when they did the results, they got criticised for using food like chicken and porridge and things, saying that's boring. I wanted something new. And you think they wanted you to invent a new type of food?
If I was to invent a new type of diet, it would just be like a pair of like steel cutters, wire cutters. And what would happen is that when you started the diet, somebody would come around to your house and then just smash all the forks and the knives and everything, just cut them all in half and throw them in the bin, and then you wouldn't be able to eat anything. And
then you presumably starve.
Yeah, until you buy more cutlery, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or you're just eating soup with your hands.
I think a good way to lose weight is to be on drugs. It works for Scottish people.
You're not endorsing drugs.
All I'm saying is maybe instead of buying that cake, you buy... Never mind.
Ginny, you're a fat mess. Here, have some cake with cocaine.
Cake, cocaine? No, don't tell them to mix the two because that's even worse.
Just cunningly sneak it into people's food.
Isn't this a gaming podcast?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Hello and welcome to the 18th Brain Go Hurty podcast. It's about gaming. I'm Flick and I'm joined by Blighty. I'm the host. He's the other person. Say hello.
I love that you have to state that it's about gaming because the first 5 minutes are always so anti-gaming. They're so far removed from it.
I feel I really need to.
I'm wondering whether it's a bad idea to do it that way. Probably not. It's fun.
I don't know.
It's our thing.
Who cares? Random is sometimes fun in small doses, I find.
I like it in big doses.
5 minutes. Well, gaming podcast.
Yes.
And the first one of 2012 as well, I should have said. But
it is.
It was your Christmas and your New Year.
Yeah, it was all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
No, nothing to add to that at all? No?
Yeah, copious amounts of food and alcohol.
Yeah.
Not didn't really do any gaming because I wasn't really around. It's not that time of year isn't really for doing things like that.
It was only New Year that you were away.
Yeah, but like Christmas Day and stuff, no gaming on Christmas Day. It's against the rules.
Too busy eating everything in your vicinity.
Yeah, pretty much, and watching stuff on telly. I did get games and stuff for Christmas, but we'll come to that a little bit later, I guess.
Will we? Is there a special section for what we got for Christmas?
Let's have that now. What did you get for Christmas, games-wise? I don't care about your pocket watches or your tampons or dead rhinos.
One game, other than what I bought myself.
Did you wrap your own presents?
No.
No.
Did
you wrap presents for other people?
No. I get my sister to do it.
Even hers?
No. I'm not an idiot.
That would be brilliant. I bought my brother's birthday present off of him.
What?
Well, he wanted like a gift card for the store that he works at, and he was the one that was working that day, so I bought it from him. It meant he could pick the particular gift card that he wanted.
Well, why when he has an employee discount, surely? Does that not...
I don't know. I don't pretend to understand his logic.
Okay. Stephen, what were you thinking? This is crazy. Anyway, the one game I got for Christmas was Professor Layton and the Spectre's Call, which is the first game of the second trilogy of the Professor Layton DS games.
I haven't actually played them, but Vicky has, and she quite liked them.
I liked them a lot, but I never actually got finished with the one before this one, the Unwound Future, so that's one of the things I'm playing right now. Spoiler alert for the next conversation.
So, yeah. What did I get for Christmas then? I got Mass Effect
you had to ask yourself because I forgot to ask you.
You're shit. I got Mass Effect 2. I got Star Wars: The Old Republic. I got Saints Row 3, and I think that was about it. Although technically I've been gifted about half a fucking ton of games to get through as well.
I think we covered the Steam sale as well.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to give a backstory about why you got Old Republic? Because wasn't there...
Well, the list of things that my girlfriend went in to go and buy, basically because we did our Christmas shopping for each other on Christmas Eve, a lot of stuff was sold out. So,
well, pretty much everything. I'm very surprised.
So what ended up happening was it was on my list, and then I removed it from the list, and then she decided to buy it anyway because she was out of all other options, and I'm actually now quite glad. So there you go. Yeah,
we'll end up talking about that game a lot this time, I think. and she said someone in the game store that she went to didn't know how to pronounce Disgaea.
Oh yes, that's
which I found quite amusing, but also quite sad because they obviously hadn't expected it to do well, so they'd put no effort at all into trying to sell it.
Yeah, there wasn't any copies of it in any of the stores.
Whereas you will always find them pushing an Activision game very hard, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with them owning a rather large portion of the company.
Probably not.
Of course.
You know, one of these days we will get attacked by Activision or EA or somebody. Capcom. It'll be fucking Capcom.
It'll be Capcom, I think, because we have kind of insinuated that they've caused cancer. So I think that's slightly marginally worse than stating a fact, which as a company happens to own shares in a different company, because that's fine.
You know, Capcom's latest thing is that they're planning on opening up a pub, like a bar.
What, in Japan?
Yeah, in Japan.
They have pubs, do they? They have bars.
Pub. It's a bar. Okay, a bar.
A themed one, is it?
Yeah, Capcom themed bar.
You get served by people dressed as Dr. Wily.
I don't quite know of how it all works. But
No, of course I'm wrong. In Japan, it has to be all the female characters and they have to be as naked as possible, as the law allows.
as the law allows, yeah.
Well, they do have those. They have otaku bars in Japan, which are just the people go there for the service from the barely dressed women serving.
They have some very strange things, so...
They do. That's what makes it such an interesting topic of study, just reading about Japanese culture. It's very weird, but also very interesting. I won't bore you with it.
No.
But it is interesting. How did we get onto this? We were talking about Christmas and New Year.
It's the stuff that we got, games that we got.
That's true. My Christmas was pretty much indifferent and my New Year was tedious. I always try and make sure I'm in bed before midnight on New Year so I can try and avoid all that New Year crap.
Just to be spiteful.
But the fireworks keep on waking me up every year.
Oh, why don't you buy earplugs?
Because then if my house was on fire or being broken into, I wouldn't hear my dog reacting.
No, but...
I'm not being sarcastic, that is the reason.
You'd probably smell like your burning flesh. That would wake you up.
That's a tiny bit too late to escape with my life.
You might be right there.
Maybe if I had one earplug and lie on my side, because then in my sleep, if I turn over, that might work.
Okay, that's a bit extreme. Huh?
Plus, I'd save money because I'd only need to use one earplug at a time. Genius!
Just further enhancing the stereotype of Scottish people being stingy.
I'm going to invent the single earplug. Here we come.
Just the individual, just packet, just one earplug.
I'm going to patent the concept of a single ear.
And not only that, it would apply to people that didn't want to hear anything at all, but only had one ear, or were deaf in one ear.
Oh, like people sitting next to their wife or girlfriend at night watching crap on television. They'd put it in the ear that's adjacent to the person. That's amazing. This is the best idea I've ever had.
I want 50% of the shares in the stock of this.
I'm afraid you would need to invest for that much.
I'll invest £1.
Okay, that's a deal.
Cool. I'm in. Is that what they say? They say I'm in?
That is what they say. Well, actually, they had an Australian one on and he didn't. For some reason, he seemed to break the rules. I think that's why they got rid of him. He wasn't following the... He didn't say I'm in and he didn't say I'm out.
That's why instead of having like football and rugby, they have Aussie rules. Because it's not the real rules. It's like they just make things up as they go along. Anyway...
What would you like to move on to next? Actually, I did have one final kind of Christmas topic.
Kind of Christmas?
Yeah, because I wanted to ask after hearing about what you had, was there anything that you wished you got that you didn't? No, wait, I said that wrong. Is there anything you didn't get that you wish you did? Is that what I meant to say? I don't mean in the sense of like if you had infinite money. I just mean...
Things that I would have been expecting, you mean?
No, you would have liked, but circumstance or availability, etc., you didn't get.
Not that I can really think of. Majority of the things that I wanted were probably expensive. So. And
you got DVD box sets you wanted as well.
Oh yeah, I got further, building up on the whole Star Wars theme of this podcast, which will happen. I got the entire collection on Blu-ray.
I can't help but notice you never mentioned the gift I got you,
which was
that awkward silence where you try and remember what I got you. Oh, I gifted you something on Steam along with the other people who've gifted you things.
What? Brink.
Is that you trying to pronounce Brink? Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name of it.
Well, that'll be one of the things we'll talk about next, anyway. I was trying to root down the reason why I hate Christmas, and I think it's because I got chickenpox on Christmas Day.
So you're blaming the fact that you got chickenpox one time.
I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying that's perhaps ruined my memories of it because it was when I was very young. In fact, the only reason I remember is because it's on a home video.
Maybe it's that like while you're just like malicious and spiteful all year round, everybody else is all year round except for that one day or the few days around Christmas, and it's a bit sort of hypocritical. Is that the word?
Hippopotamus is the word.
Hippopotamus. It's a bit hippopotamus.
It is. That's possibly the reason why. What did you want to move on to next? First,
what we've been playing, I suppose.
Kind of meshed in with what we bought on sale.
Yeah, what we've been,
because it's cheap, not because we wanted it.
things that we've acquired.
Well, your list is probably longer than mine then.
Oh dear God.
Again.
Well, okay, obviously I mentioned that I got Mass Effect 2. I've not started that yet. I finished Mass Effect 1 at the sort of summer slump that I was going through, that backlog of games last year, which looks like I'm probably going to have another one, but it's going to be at the beginning of the year this time round.
Well, you probably got until March, so you might want to...
So somewhere between now and, well, as you say, March, I've got Amnesia: The Dark Descent that Noodles gifted for us to do a playthrough, which we've not even started yet, so apologies to Noodles for that. But
yeah, there's reasons for that.
Things have blocked the way. We've got Brink, which we've played a bit. A mini review here of that.
Let's do that, yeah.
To me, it would be a brilliant game if Team Fortress had never been invented.
Oh, really? I was surprised you said that, considering.
Well, look at it this way. Team Fortress it evolved as a mod.
Aha.
And
you said you think Brink feels like a mod, and it does.
It just feels like a mod of a game. So, Team Fortress starting off as a mod, if that hadn't been there, Brink would have probably been something new, a new style of that sort of game, something interesting to play, something a bit fun and a bit... it doesn't feel like there's enough content to it, and I would have been severely pissed off if I'd paid full price for it. Yeah,
especially with all the problems it had at launch. Like Radeon cards, I think, weren't working with it.
It just doesn't feel... there's no satisfaction behind the kills, because none of it really works very well.
There's not enough class diversity either. They're all too same. All the weapons feel the same.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was only £3, so it's not so bad.
Because it's cheap, we don't care.
Yeah, we got £3 worth of fun out of it, surely.
Yeah,
I mean, we did play it quite a bit.
We did. Yeah, we played it for a good few hours, I suppose. So there was that. I got Dungeons of Dreadmore gifted to me by CR.
He's Irish.
Yep, he's Irish, so the rule of being stingy and Scottish doesn't apply to him.
Yeah, being Irish, that makes sense. Yeah.
Paid for in potatoes. And it's that roguelike game, kind of similar to that game I was playing on my phone.
If the euro keeps going the way it's going, they may have to resort to that,
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm surprised they already haven't.
The donations would go like sack of potatoes, potato, crisp.
Crisp. Gary Lineker would be a multi-millionaire.
Oh dear. Well, you're just implying that Gary Lineker has like a basement filled with bags of
According to the adverts, he has just like...
Is he still doing those adverts? I mean, I haven't watched TV in years, so...
Quite possibly.
All right, don't know either, okay.
So, yeah, but I've been playing that a little bit. It's quite good fun. I quite like it.
It's like that game on your phone you were playing.
100 Rogues, yeah. Roguelike games are quite addictive because the game is designed to try and get you dead as quickly as possible. So it's a case of just trying to beat your previous high score.
It did look quite interesting. I watched you playing it for a bit when I was waiting on something doing something.
Something doing something.
I don't like that the stats are so ambiguous. That's the only thing that was...
They're not. It's just that they have different names than you're used to. Rather than having like strength and endurance and stuff, they've got really weird names. But if you read the help tool on them, they do make sense for what they apply to, like dexterity and things like that, agility.
All right.
So there's that.
What else have you been gifted?
I have... today or yesterday, CR gifted me XCOM UFO Defense.
And had you ever heard of it or played it before?
I'd heard of XCOM before, but I've never played it. So
I also heard of it, but it's one of those things that passed me by. It's one of those ones that people cherish.
So that's
like from yesteryear.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a sequel out soon that's not RTS game or whatever.
The FPS one, but now it's just been revealed that there's going to be a traditional, proper styled one that people are very happy and excited about.
Just to avoid pissing people off, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll just be the old game with better graphics, but that might satisfy people.
Yeah, who knows?
I might try it then, since graphics is generally the only thing putting me off a game made about 20 years ago.
You're such a slut. A graphics whore.
It's just I like more than 1 pixel per screen, please. You did get gifted something else? There is something else. Did someone gift you Shogun 2?
Oh, yes, there's that as well, yes.
Which we haven't even touched yet.
It's not even installed yet. So there's that as well. So the only things that I've actually really been playing since the last podcast, well, we did Brink, played that. I played some Dungeons of Dreadmore. Haven't been playing any Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations,
Yeah.
because the criteria for that podcast hasn't been met.
It was what Joyful Porridge has to reach.
Joyful Porridge, 250 views on YouTube, has not been met yet, so no. Is that
about? In fact, no, I won't tell you what it's about. I will check exactly where it's at. It is at
170 something, I guess.
173. Yeah. Did you just check, or was that a guess?
No, it was a guess.
Well, you were spot on. Almost.
So yeah, there's quite a few bits.
We haven't played Saints Row 3 yet either.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't even put that in the drive yet. Lots of stuff. So the only thing that I've really been playing, I guess, is the Old Republic.
Well, we'll get on to that after I do my list of other things other than Old Republic.
Okay.
Although, but I will say it would be nice if we had some feedback about what people want to see on either of our accounts on YouTube. Do they want Old Republic from me, Skyrim from you, or Amnesia?
That's something that I need to get on with finishing off, but I'm wondering whether or not to get battered through the Skyrim, just main plot, do it, because I'm not going to spend hundreds of hours recording everything I do in the game. I will be driven insane. It just won't happen. So I've bitten that bullet, and I think I'll just knock that on the head, and then we can start the Amnesia game playthrough at some point.
So we'd like to know what people would like us to prioritise. What do you think we'd have the most fun doing?
Yeah, so your options are going to be between what? You can see Shogun, you can see Amnesia, you can see
Saints Row 3,
The Old Republic. Anything?
Technically more Revelations if the criteria is met, and only if. We won't just randomly play it this time, not like last time.
No.
No.
We're not falling for that one again.
Right, so what have I been playing other than... I have to remember back, because I keep forgetting it has been slightly longer, because we recorded the other one slightly in advance.
It was a little bit early, just to make sure that it was sorted before
Christmas.
It was
done, yeah. So console-wise, I think it's pretty much only been Disgaea still, because I haven't been... My Xbox has been getting neglected for a little while now, ever since I kind of got finished with Saints Row 3. I had it in the other day there, but that was just to get the achievement for playing it for 30 hours, so I was leaving it idle while doing things AFK or on the PC, etc.
It's like your wife staying at home and doing the cooking and the cleaning while you're off in a hotel room with some cheap slut.
Otherwise known as PS3. Or PC, depending. Well, the DS has been... Well, my 3DS has been getting played, but not in 3D, because it's been playing the previous Professor Layton game.
I was going to say, you're not blind yet.
No, I've not got any... Well, I've played a bit of Mario Kart still, and I've still got a bit of Super 3D... I can't even remember what it's called. Super Mario 3D Land. There we go, I checked. On the PC, I have been playing Shogun. I played a bit of that before getting sucked into Old Republic. Brink with you. Anything else on Steam? Yes, actually, I got... Torchlight, that was it.
Oh yeah, I forgot you got that.
And I did actually quite like the demo of that originally, but the thing that put me off was no co-op, when it so screams having... I would have had a decent co-op if they'd bothered putting it in.
It plays kind of like Diablo or something, doesn't it?
Well, it plays exactly like Diablo.
Alright, okay.
That's partly why it's so good. I don't quite like the character design, so that's one other thing. But it was a £3 game in the sale again, so I thought, what the hell? I've been playing a bit.
If it's dirt cheap, then who gives a fuck? Just pick it up anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or wait till everybody else gifts you games.
Or put out some sob story about having no money until they capitulate and buy it for you.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that's a handy one, that.
But that only applied because you were intent on me getting the game, and I said I hadn't been paid yet. So,
and it was on sale when it was dirt cheap, so I thought that's a perfect opportunity to get it. Especially if we don't end up playing it that long, despite the fact that it's very good. So now we can go on to Old Republic, since that's the thing we've both been playing pretty much for far too long.
Which was probably a good indication of what we feel about it then, I suppose.
Yes. So what are your impressions on it? And try and get through it without mentioning WoW every other sentence.
Yeah, because otherwise I'll have to punch myself in the nuts. Cool. Yeah. That's the rules, apparently. Every time I mention that, when in reference to
If you're making a direct comparison for any other reason than financial success. That's actually what I've set out in an article I've wrote that I've not quite submitted yet because I want to go over a few things in it. But yeah, I'm doing a first impressions article about it.
Thinking about it, it's actually unfair to say that we would definitely like it because we've been playing it a lot. Because in order to do a proper, let's say, review or to give it a proper shot for an MMO, you do generally need to play a little bit longer than you would for just a standalone RPG, let's say.
But you would also say that as far as first impressions go, it does give quite a good one.
Oh yeah, it has its faults, which I'll come to. But I mean, the big thing that stands out for me, which the videos don't seem to do this justice, and I don't understand why they don't. But the fact that you have interacting cutscenes with the conversations and so on, the dialogue options, just like in things like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, all that. I mean, you see them in the videos, but it doesn't seem like maybe that big a deal. But the impact that has is that you end up paying attention to what people are actually saying to you. I mean,
unlike when we played Rift, where it was just a case of click, click, accept quest.
Yeah, click. You just ran around, picked up all the quests in the space of 2 minutes in the town, and then just followed the quest tracker to go and kill this, do that, blah, blah, blah. This time round, it'd probably take you about 45 minutes just to pick up all the quests because you're listening through the conversations. It's
worth noting you can fast forward the dialogue if you want.
Oh yeah, you could.
There's not much reason to want to unless you've already seen it.
It's well voice acted, and the quests aren't that generic, if you know what I mean. It's not like, oh, I want you to go and kill this. There's always a little backstory behind each quest. And I'm a poor
trader. Could you please go and kill this? That's kind of how it goes.
It's the little things that seem to sort of all add up, and
the light side, dark side, etc.
Well, I really like that. I like that even if you're on the Republic side and you're playing as a Jedi and you're playing as a good guy, you can still make what I suppose dark side decisions, bad choices, let's say,
like calling a fellow Jedi monstrously ugly.
And throwing him off a cliff.
And also throwing a monster Jedi type thing off a cliff, yes.
These things, it doesn't make you become a Sith or anything, but it allows you to be a bit of a dick while you're going around the galaxy. And the best thing about it is that when you're in a group with somebody else, and it does a dice roll to determine whose decision is actually taken. So you're playing as light side and I'm playing as dark side. So whenever the option comes up for someone to get killed, you're always saying, no, it's fine. And I'm saying, kill the fucker. Lightsaber in the crotch. And then it's a dice roll to see who wins. And I like that. It's fun.
We're a dysfunctional Jedi family.
Yeah, we're the worst Jedis ever.
We are, which is why the video series that we're now doing on it is called that. Where we go around being terrible at the game in general, pretty much.
And it makes you get more involved in the story than you would in most MMOs, because it feels almost like you've got something invested if you're trying to go down a particular route and you want the story to play out the way that you want it to. So you're sort of determined to get the dice roll yourself. I don't know. That's me. I don't know if that applies.
Yeah, I would say so. You do want to. I mean, that's why, if one of us don't get the way we want to go, we say, "Oh," and it's genuine. It's not forced or fake.
Exactly. No, I do like that, and
even your girlfriend plays along and scolds you for being an evil bastard.
She should be used to it by now. I mean, you've seen the other games that I've played, and the Skyrim, for example. Some of the stuff that I've.
Yes, your bed is littered with the skulls of your dead enemies.
So, I mean, that's my highlight from it. The gameplay mechanics are a bit generic.
Familiar? Generic.
The familiar is good because it's one of the reasons why Call of Duty is so successful. That's why they bring out basically the same game each year, but it still manages to sell because it's ever so slightly different, but it's familiar enough for people to just get in and play it. And I like that. All the controls are exactly the same as the game that I'm not going to say. Or punch myself in the crotch.
Yes.
But it could do with maybe some of the class dynamics being a bit more strict.
Yeah, you don't like that the stealthy one isn't proper stealth.
It doesn't fit. Yeah, it just plays like a just sort of generic melee class. There's no real sort of stealth behind it. I mean, you do have the stealth move, but it doesn't all work in the normal manner. And that I'm kind of disappointed with that.
I feel a bit sorry that the people who go the Jedi Mage type class don't get to do all the fun things that the Sith Mage type goes, because I have a Sith Mage that's about 20 level 20 something.
You get to shoot lightning bolts at your ass.
Every ability is lightning based, pretty much, or I'm giving plagues to enemies and things. It's far more fun than picking up bits of rock and throwing them at people, because they should have went the route that Jedi Academy did, where a power wasn't good or evil, it was just how it was used, and actually the game rewarded you if you found a balance between light powers and dark powers, so to speak. So you could be one that has Mind Trick, which is a light side power, and also lightning or choke. Because, I mean, one way or the other, you're still killing people.
Yeah, it feels like they missed a bit of a trick there on, like, improving on some of the force power, like, appearances as well. I mean, it's not a case of them being underpowered or anything. They just don't look that interesting to watch if you're doing that constantly.
I think that will be something they will hopefully address, because it's not just us who've noticed that. Let's put it that way.
Right.
That's one of the things being levied at it. Are you aware that it's not the first MMO to have voice acting? Specifically an RPG MMO. I mean, I don't mean something like PlanetSide, say.
How so?
Age of Conan, which I played briefly, had voice acting for all the quests.
Was it like for everything like this? Or?
Well, you see, this is the interesting thing. It had it for the whole of the starting island that every class started on, and for a little while after you got to the mainland for the main part of the game. But then all of a sudden the voice acting just stopped and everything went back to text. And I don't know if this was the reason why, but it certainly seemed like anyone who would be given the game to preview or review for a website or a magazine would assume that it had voice acting, because they wouldn't get far enough into the game to find that all of a sudden it cuts out.
That seems highly likely, and it's not just that. There's a huge cost involved in pumping out voice acting for everything, and I hope that Star Wars doesn't go the same way. I'm hoping
that's actually one of the things in this article that I'm bringing up. I suspect that it will be very difficult for them to do quest-based free patches, which is probably why they're focusing on stretching out the PvP aspects, etc. Like making a planet where both players can run around and actually fight each other from both factions. I mean,
I hope that they do. I hope they do keep voice acting all the way through, because I think it's one of the things that makes the game so good.
In this article, I've made a prediction that might come true. I wonder if you would still accept it. Would you microtransaction additional quests that they put an extra price on over your subscription if they gave the excuse that it's because they had to pay the voice actors to do more content?
Well, so you'd have to pay for...
Yeah, so let's say they bring out a new planet, and to get the new planet, which includes new quests for your character, which are voiced, they charge an extra tenner.
That's no different from adding expansions like the game that I'm not allowed to mention, or punch myself in the balls. Adding in, like all the expansions for that, and same for like Final Fantasy 11.
But what if it wasn't as big as a whole expansion? What if it was just a planet of a dozen missions at most? Or is that big enough?
It depends on how much they charged.
Okay.
I would probably accept that at, like, let's say like, without spoiling anything really, Coruscant, right? Let's say that it was a planet that had the amount of stuff we had there. £5, I would accept that. Any higher, probably not.
Or to put it another way then, would you be happy if that was the only way new voiced content got added, and other than that patches were just, I don't know, new types of PvP, that kind of, or new flashpoints or something like that?
Yeah, it's really difficult to judge just now, isn't it, whether or not...
It is a bit early, but it has the advantage also of, even if there's not a lot to do at high levels, you want to see the storylines of the other classes.
True.
Because they're all different. Well, for the 4 main classes on each side anyway, not for the 2 that each one changes into. Would you like to talk about Old Republic some more?
Well, really quickly, just to wrap up Old Republic from my side anyway. I noted that the login and sign-up process for it was ridiculously long and convoluted. I mean, you have to like add in like 15 like special questions, like what's your grandma's favorite shaped banana and all that sort of stuff, in order for you to...
It's for your protection
from the crazy Chinese hackers and stuff. I know this, but it seems like adding all that in before you even get access to start the game was just drove me a bit mental.
Now, you didn't do the beta, but you also don't have to use Origin for it, do you?
No, I don't.
Which is handy, because it did say in the terms of conditions that it did require Origin, which it seems to have either been revoked or was not true.
As far as I remember, going through the installation and stuff, one of the terms and conditions was for them to allow like Origin to do the dirty scanning.
Would you like Origin to scan your computer and observe you as you explore the internet? We won't do anything illegal with the data, but we'll collect it and read it.
So that's still in there, but you don't actually have to have Origin. So as a byproduct, it doesn't count, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just using the beta client. So
what the fuck are they going to do with that information anyway?
Marketing. I mean, marketers believe that any piece of information they can gather about someone helps them sell their shit. Basically, that's how marketing works.
That's quite interesting because for the longest time, like, I never really went like viewing, like buying anything online on this computer, right? So when I went onto YouTube, I didn't really see any adverts for anything. And then like one day I thought, like, I need a new snowboarding jacket, so I went looking for it. And now every time I'm on YouTube, there's a big bit on the right hand side for all these various websites that sell snowboarding gear. And it was like I never noticed the adverts even there before because I don't think there was any. Because I hadn't been on any sites or anything that would do that.
So if I was to spend a day just randomly typing into search engines things involving haggis, I would start getting Google AdSense saying, buy your haggis cheap.
I don't know if that would work. Maybe food, maybe hampers or something like that.
Probably. I'd like to have a brief intermission to give you a random fact from the 2012 Guinness Book of World Records.
This is your latest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because my sister bought me it for Christmas, so I feel I have to actually use it in some fashion. And
you're obliged to do so.
I am obliged to do so. And the things that they include in this book are retarded. There's no nice way to say it. And for anyone who thinks I'm about to lie about this, it's on page 145. Fastest time to eat 2 bags of watercress. How is that an achievement? How does that deserve to be in print?
Who decides that that's a record? Not like that they decide, well, okay, you've done it in the fastest time or whatever, but who decides that that's worthy?
But there's more. It doesn't just say that he got the award. It also explains his technique. Sam Bathel from the UK.
I take the cress and I put it in my mouth.
Oh, no, he had a special technique. Swallowing 1 bag at a time with large gulps of water.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, that's like saying, like, I'll phone them up and say, I'm going to have the Guinness World Record for smashing myself in the face with my keyboard the most times in under a minute. Do you know what I mean?
That probably already exists.
If not, I'll do it now, and then that's it. I've got Guinness World. I mean, like, that's not a fucking record. Records are like the tallest man and like the... Exactly,
the stuff that matters, not the random crap, but they have to fill the book. To get people to buy it now, they have to do things that are weird. And unfortunately, she never got me the Gamer Edition because that's never out just before the New Year. It's always out afterwards. But there was a gaming-related thing in it, and that was that the Kinect was the fastest-selling gaming peripheral. I think the total was 6 million or something, but it sold 133,000 per day for the first 60 days.
It's quite a lot. I mean, considering...
That's a ridiculous amount.
Considering... It didn't feel to me like it was something I particularly wanted or was interested in.
No, I mean, my family has one, so I've seen one. Use it. I wouldn't use it, and they've used it once since they bought it. So
maybe it's like one of those things. It's a fad, isn't it? It's like the Wii.
It is. It's the Wii. Except it's the Wii with better graphics and no controls.
Which is the way the Wii U's going to go. People will buy one like, oh, look at this, it's great. I can play it on the little tablet thing I've got right now. I'm bored.
Well, that's what Nintendo's hoping for. It'll keep them in business for another year, maybe. Oh dear.
Doubtful.
Indeed. Last time we were doing our awards, we never did an award for best music, which was something that Noodle suggested, actually. And the reason we didn't do it was because we kind of settled on doing just 10, because we didn't want to go on and on.
10 felt like a good number.
It's a good even number. It wasn't 11 and it wasn't 9, so I was satisfied. Because otherwise,
Scratched your itch.
It does scratch my itch, yes. But I thought if we did have one, maybe not even limited to this year, is there like any game music for you that stands out that you could listen to all the time?
This is totally set up because you've heard me going on about this on and off for the last week. Because I keep getting the some of the battle music from Final Fantasy Tactics stuck in my head.
I thought you were going to go the Cantina music, but luckily that's technically not in Old Republic, so that's fine.
No. So, yeah, I quite like that. It's very... Well, it's orchestral, sort of.
Yeah, and anything we do mention will be on YouTube for people who haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, so go check that out. I quite like it.
What about Dr. Wily Stage 2 music from Mega Man 2?
I never played the Mega Man games.
That's one of the stereotypical good bits of music, or the gym leader boss battle music from the first generation Pokemon games.
I can't remember that far.
What about the Final Fantasy VII boss music then?
I quite like that, yeah. I preferred the remixed versions of those for Advent Children.
Oh yeah, they were all modernized and not 16-bitty. That's
filled with heavy guitars.
Yeah. I do like 8-bit music. That's one of the things I like about classic games. I actually like the music.
No, it gives my brain cancer.
I
hate them. Hate. Beep bop bloop bleep blap bleep bloop.
That's
beep.
Good. I love that sound. That kind of that classic 8-bitty sound.
You're sick. There's something wrong with you, boy.
My brain thinks in that kind of way.
That doesn't make sense. So you appreciate 8-bit music, but you're a graphics whore.
Yeah.
So what your ideal thing is like Skyrim, but with the graphics of like Pac-Man.
Oh, is there an 8-bit version of the Skyrim theme? Oh. Skyrim theme 8-bit.
Oh, dear God.
Yes, there is.
God. What have I created?
I won't listen to it right now in case it's copyrighted, but it exists. The thing that actually reminded me to include this in the notes for this one was because I heard the latest remix of Dearly Beloved, which is the main menu music for every single Kingdom Hearts game. And it's the remix that's going to be used in the next one, which is on the 3DS, which is the prelude to the proper sequel, number 3, that's finally coming out, and I'm looking forward to.
My brain just kind of went scush there.
It's the Disney thing, isn't it?
I think so. I tried the first Kingdom Hearts game, not really all that interested.
I really wish they didn't do the Disney thing, because they didn't need to. The Final Fantasy thing they could have, just to get fans interested, but the Disney thing is totally unnecessary. They have a strong enough story to stand on its own feet without doing that. They could have just had lots of little worlds that he visits to close the door to stop monsters coming out, and they didn't have to be themed around films created by a company started by a racist.
Does this all stem because Donald Duck wears a jacket and a hat, but he doesn't wear any trousers? So, like, that. Why cover the shame of your like man boobs and your hair, but not cover your wing dang doodle?
Perhaps he's hiding. Well, Sonic is naked, and you don't see anyone going on about that.
Why does he wear shoes?
Why does he wear shoes?
Nothing but a pair of shoes. Who the fuck thought that up?
Well, he does run a lot, to be fair. I need to change my browser page because I keep on looking at that 8-bit remix of the Skyrim theme, thinking I must listen to this now.
On a completely different subject,
Steam
have basically announced that they've had like double their sales figures for 7 years running now.
So they've added an extra L onto all now. So
like this further sort of like, I remember when it sort of first kicked off, and I was one of those anti digital download people.
Anti.
Yes, anti.
No, anti.
I say apparel, you say apparel.
Apparel isn't a word. Apparel.
I was really against digital downloads. I didn't see it. Not that I didn't see it taking off or anything. I just didn't like it. I liked to have the box, and I always felt more secure knowing that, you know, if something went wrong with the computer. But then, you know, as you eventually get dragged into the 21st century, I'm kind of warming to it a bit. I mean, we buy loads of things digital download now. It's
because they're dirt cheap. I still buy even if I play PC games. I still buy the box set. I have the box of Old Republic.
So do I. I don't have
and Skyrim. I have the box of that.
I have that as well. Yes. No, there are a lot of things that I still get the box for, but I'm quite impressed that they've done so well and that they seem to be succeeding. Where I think it's because maybe they were the first to get
they had first mover advantage.
the right sort of niche, and they had that huge amount of money behind them from like Half-Life that they managed to sink into making Steam the big success that it is. And even though you hate it,
I do still hate
admit that there are a lot of things about Steam that are really good, like the Steam sale.
Only the Steam sale. There's absolutely
the fact
nothing
that
else.
If something went horribly wrong and your house caught fire and all your games were destroyed, anything that you had against your Steam account, when you get your new computer from your insurance claim,
I think I'd insurance claim. Okay, I was going to ask, how would I get that exactly?
From your insurance claim.
Okay, right.
You could just go on and then re-download all the games again.
I mean, I'd need a long extension cord to reach the bench I'd be living on in the park, but yeah, that's fine.
Spend all your insurance. Screw the house. I'm just going to buy a monster. I'm going to get
a monster
blue.
PC.
I'm going to get Deep Blue.
Yeah, Deep Blue. But I'll make sure it doesn't have a decent cooling system so that the heat generated by it keeps me warm. Right.
You can live inside, rather than living inside a gaming cave, you can live inside a gaming machine, actually in the computer.
Deep Blue and beat smug people at chess.
You just press a little button on the inside and the disk drive pops out outside for someone to put like cookies and stuff in and then send them into you.
It works. Well, it might work.
I've got like this really weird image in my head and it's like, yeah.
It's dangerous thinking. I like boxes because I like having them neatly arranged in a nice impressive collection.
You're one of these really weird anal people when it comes to things like that. You'd absolutely hate the way that I have my games collection organized.
I don't keep them in alphabetical order.
No, but basically I have a CD rack leaned up against the wall in the far corner of the room, right? Which is full to the brim of CDs. So all the games are like lopsided in amongst DVDs and CDs and stuff, just sticking out of the wall. Not in any particular order, not by any particular console, nothing at all. There's books in there as well, and DVDs and stuff. And strangely, some of the shit that's up here is like archaic. I mean, there's like Dino Crisis 2.
Bloody hell.
Resident Evil Survivor, stuff like that floating about.
Ugh. I don't like that you haven't got it separated by type, by genre. Not genre, format.
Now,
I have like PCP.
The thing is,
PCP?
if I had the space, I probably would. I would probably have shelves assigned to various things.
Xbox, PS3, etc.
But maybe at the end of the year, maybe that might happen. 'Cause that's when I buy a house.
Or steal one.
You can't steal a house. Where are you going to put it? Just sneak it into my back pocket. This is going well off tangent.
Collect a few large trees and in the middle of the night surround a house with them. Make it look like a forest and then put a do not enter sign in front of it.
What about the people that are already in the house? Oh, yeah.
You've already murdered them.
Already murdered them, yeah.
Yeah. And you've got a perfect place to bury the bodies.
Yeah, in your house, in the basement. And the
hidden
skulls in your bed.
by the forest.
Put the skulls in your bed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a Skyrim mod waiting to happen.
The bed of skulls.
Well, I meant more like the forest house of murder. It's a horror film waiting to happen, in fact.
So recently I tried to get the podcast back up on N4G, and basically after you put a few posts on there, you have like a sort of limit before you then have to become a community member and approve other people's posts, and that's how they keep the whole thing rolling. So they force you into it. So they
don't do any work themselves.
No, it's all
they're not stupid.
done by the people. And I thought, right, okay, fair enough, that's fine, I suppose. But then technically you can approve anything left, right, and centre. Which then got me thinking, well, the way that I approached this, because I was like, right, I have to approve like 4 posts or something before I can put the next podcast up on there. So I went through the pending things to look for anything that I thought might be interesting. God forbid, there might be something interesting for me to look at rather than just hitting approve. Because I wasn't going to stick my name to just anything. I imagine there are probably people that do that, but
yeah,
I was making sure that it was actually something that I did approve in in reality. So I saw, like, it'd been a while since we've heard anything about the new Tomb Raider reboot. So there was one that was, showing off about there being a Tomb Raider preview. So I thought, that might be quite interesting because I'm kind of, looking forward to the game coming out.
Yeah.
So I get it on and I start reading through, and I realised that the pictures, the screenshots that they're using all the way through are just clips from the trailer that was shown at E3.
Yeah, the E3 one, yeah.
So I thought, right, so they haven't actually got any new footage. And as I was reading through, it's just, if you read that, you could apply it to anybody that's played any of the previous Tomb Raider games and then watched the actual E3 trailer. I was thinking, this isn't a fucking preview. This is a lie. This is a big sham. I'm sitting thinking, like, you're the cynical one, right? We've already established that over the last 7 years.
Am I really?
But, like, I genuinely didn't think that things worked that way. And I'm now sitting there thinking that the vast majority of, like, previews of things and reviews of things are all pish. It's all nonsense. It'll be, reviews of things that people have been paid off or, bribed with, or they've played 10 minutes of it and they've given it a full review, or previewing games that they haven't even tested yet and just inventing shit.
It happens.
And it made me angry. It made me really, really angry.
If you were looking at a very, very small site, it was maybe just because of lack of anything else to report on.
Yeah, but don't make it up.
Well, they were actually making things up, or was it just a series of assumptions?
Yeah, it was just that. Well, okay, they weren't inventing anything, but they were saying, like, the game feels grittier than any of the previous Tomb Raider games. No, it fucking doesn't. The video looks grittier than any of the.
Yeah, just because it showed Lara being.
She's got a bit of dirt and she gets cut and all that sort of stuff.
And a homeless man tries to rape her. So
essentially, all they did was they took what their impressions are of the trailer and turned that into a preview. No, I hated it. Angry man with stick.
That's what you get for having to look through it, which you might have to do again to get this one up on there, of course. But we all pay prices for doing things.
I suppose that's just my naivety, I suppose, which is now shattered. It's gone. The illusion. That's it. Dead.
There is still some credible people there. Hint, hint. I winked. I didn't say wink that time. I forgot that you can't actually see me. Oh dear.
So, as the podcast has gone on, we've tried to get people involved, get them to send in questions or comments or just
money.
Yeah, money. No, not money.
No, not money. Not yet.
Not yet. But so we've been trying to encourage people to do so, and to date, there's been one real sort of follower, Noodles McMuffin, who has been,
and his siblings, Muffin McNoodle, Mick Noodle Muffin Mick.
Yes, well,
it's a large clan.
Yeah, so he's managed to continuously provide us with emails where we've been a bit dry, but
beg your pardon,
bit dry in the old email.
A bit bereft. I have a book here filled with amazing records, and you're saying that. Let me just see here. Let me just see here on page. Let's go page 112. Most footballs juggled. Isn't that interesting?
No, don't care.
But if anyone listening has the same type of OCD as me, if I don't give the answer, they'll be, hey, I'm going to just close the book. There we go. Take that, fellow sufferers.
Anyway, so we now have an abundance of emails this time round. So I shall start from the start.
You have a habit of over-exaggerating. We do not have an abundance. We have a few.
We have more than one.
We have more than one, less than a million.
Yeah. So it's a good place to start.
Start wherever you'd like to start.
Okay, right. So there's an email from Nathan Buxton, who this is something that you could tie into the Guinness Book of Records. I think to date we're the only podcast that has officially nearly caused a car crash.
Oh dear. I should point out I do actually know this person, and I badgered them into listening to the podcast, and then they said, "You're going to regret doing that." I asked why, and they said, "I'll email the podcast." So he sent in the email that says that he's only been subscribed to the podcast for the last 2 episodes, but he thinks that we're funny, and especially the Christmas special. And he says that his suggestion is that we should have a warning not to listen while driving.
Apparently on Boxing Day he was driving home, thought it'd be a good opportunity to listen to the podcast. He got to the bit where we were talking about the peripherals for Nintendo and the vitality sensor.
Oh, yes.
And how I
yeah.
said that somebody somewhere would have probably stuck it on their cock. And
Somebody somewhere, somebody not a million miles away from me now said that they would... The first thing you would do is check if it had a pulse.
Dick pulse.
I don't know if it's got a pulse, but it's moving up and down. What does that mean?
So, yeah, he nearly went round the roundabout the wrong way. Yeah. So...
Wait, so it was laughing and it made him go around...
he found it hysterically funny, which would have been fine, but he was trying to drive. When I learned to drive, there was no part of the test where you had to go round a roundabout while pissing yourself at a podcast.
Well, that's... We're sorry that we almost murdered you.
So he's somewhat wary of listening further and avoiding roundabouts.
That would make a great promotional phrase. Brain Go Hurty, the podcast that almost killed someone.
It's so good, it'll nearly kill you.
I was worried that you were going to say that he almost fell asleep or something and went off the side of the road. I'm kind of glad that it was something
the other way around.
Yeah. If it had happened, just blame video games and you'll get away with it. Say Grand Theft Auto made you drive the wrong way up the road.
Drunk. With a hooker in the boot.
Dead hooker, yeah.
So, following on from that, we have an email from...
Thank you for that email as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, it's polite to say thank you.
Is it?
Apparently, so I've been told.
I don't have manners. So the next email is from Terrell Edmonds. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Terel. I imagine it's a guy.
If it isn't, we apologise. See, that's also manners. Ma'am.
You're just going to pick at this all the way through, aren't you?
Well, I can't see it, so it gives me something to do.
I suppose. Terrell writes in to say that he got Skyrim for Christmas. He's been playing it non-stop and wonders what kind of characters we both play and the best traits and attributes that we like. Do you like playing as a one-handed character, two-handed, magician? What sort of magic do you like, if at all?
I prefer my characters to have two hands. I imagine this will be quite a long answer for you, though, considering you change your mind every 5 minutes.
Yes, well, if given the opportunity, you like to have a big two-handed scythe. That just seems to be your thing.
Two-handed melee. Although when it came to Oblivion, I played Stealthy Archer, who also did a bit of knife play if you got in close.
I never stick with any one thing like all the way throughout, and if I get the opportunity to change mid-game, I'll do that as well. But I mean, like historically, like in RPGs and MMOs and stuff, I've played like a little bit of everything, really.
There's no one thing you settle on.
No, I think it differs from game to game. So,
but in Skyrim,
right now, I've settled on like a magic sort of style. But I think if I were somewhere down the line to pick it up and start a new character, it would be heavy armor, probably sword and shield. I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of restoration magic and paladin sort of stuff.
Paladin, in other words, that's what that's called. Mm-hmm.
He also asks what characters do you prefer. So he's playing as an Imperial.
Oh, race.
Yeah,
I for some reason I always play as a Dark Elf. I'm not entirely sure why.
I always do that too, and I don't know what that's all about.
I think they were the least weird looking in Oblivion, but in Skyrim they're one of the more dodgy looking races. So,
like dodgy as in not shifty dodgy, but
no, just they look a bit off in Skyrim, I think. But they have a good racial trait. The Ancestor's ghost isn't so great in this one, but the fact they're half immune to fire is.
Yeah, that's very handy with all the dragons flying about.
Exactly, because of the dragons, and you meet a lot of mages who primarily use fire. So, I would say Nords have a good advantage as well, though, because you get plenty of ice dragons and mages as well.
That's true too. The next email here is actually from my brother, who says that you need to repick your worst game from the gaming awards that we had last year, because a free demo you haven't played for is unfair. Said at least pick a full game that was given a chance.
Now you technically agree with him then, based on what you were saying earlier.
I do, because I think that you can't not really give a good critical review on something if you've not fully tested it.
Now, keeping in mind, expressing some thoughts on a podcast is not the same as a proper review.
No, true.
I would like to issue the challenge of you to download and play the Nukem demo, and then next time give your thoughts on it.
What I'll do instead of that, I'll download and I'll do a video version of it. I'll play through the demo, record it, and
All right, yeah, that's actually a good idea.
talk my way through it. And
Well, that's assuming there's a PC demo.
if there is a PC demo, I'll do that. How does that sound?
I think that's a very good idea, assuming you actually do it. And then we'll see. We'll just see if the demo does not give you a good enough grasp on how shit that game was.
Right, we'll put that one to the test. That's a good idea. So,
What was your worst game again?
my worst game for the year, I think I picked Dark Souls for that.
Oh, yeah, so that was a game you did put enough time in, so it was just me he was getting at then.
Yeah.
We'll see about that, Stephen.
Take that! The next email is from Rick Parker. I don't know if it's somebody else that you know.
This is someone else I know, and I also know that he's American.
He is. He says, greetings from one of your 5 American listeners. I was like,
We have 5? Wow.
I don't think he knows them all personally. If you do, that's quite worrying.
Why?
Anyway,
There's more than 5 folk in America.
he said he was listening to the podcast episode 17 when we were talking about the Spike VGAs.
Oh, the Christmas one again, yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty much in agreement with you that the show is garbage. However, when you briefly touched on the teabagging segments of the show, the way that I asked what's so funny about putting your nuts in another man's mouth, had him laughing out loud.
Well, I hope he wasn't on the bus like your brother is often when he listens to our jabberings. Because it's given him a bit of a reputation, hasn't it?
It has. He is now the weirdo on the bus. Because he obviously takes the same bus back from work each day.
Let's be fair, he was already that. We just made it a bit worse.
Well,
yeah. I hope you weren't anywhere like that or at work.
He said that a lot of people over in the States didn't find the segments funny at all. Thought they were just dumb, and saying having your award show and you spend about 2 minutes on actual awards is ridiculous. And
the rest on sponsored trailers and endorsements, etc.
Exactly. He said to keep up the good work, and we do an awesome show. He also says, P.S. We do know our seasons over here. Thank you.
Yeah, summer. It's not hard to remember. Sorry, that's the way Steam does it. That's not the way Americans do it. It's the way Steam does it. Americans are summer, winter, summer, winter, summer, winter.
And last but not least, we have an email from Noodles.
Well, it wouldn't be a podcast without an email from Noodles.
Yeah, I've just resigned myself to the fact that at least once every fortnight I get an email from Noodles, which is good in a way. It's like scurvy.
It counts as being social.
like scurvy, yeah.
Scurvy is social.
It is not.
It's the social illness.
Scurvy, the social illness. So he says that he's wondering how we've been doing with the bad weather, because we've now had 2 hurricanes now, more or less. It
wasn't a hurricane either time, but we did have a kind of follow-up to Bobag.
The follow-up to Hurricane Bobag was a lot worse.
It did
around here.
At its worst here, but I mean, for Bobag, it hit other parts of Scotland more than here. So.
I don't care about other parts of Scotland.
I know.
They can fuck off. He asks very bluntly, also, Marmite, yes or no?
No.
I like Marmite, so yes.
What does it taste of?
It tastes of Marmite. It's like saying, what does orange juice taste like?
Oranges taste of succulent, tangy fruit.
Marmite tastes like
Use your words.
Salty, savoury, meaty jelly. It's very difficult. I hope someone listening to this hasn't just skipped along to your description, not what your description is of, because otherwise that could be very bad. Oh, baby gravy. Well, I wasn't going in that direction, but that too. He also says, with all the claims from various gaming magazines about which console is going to be owning in 2012, which console do you think, or do both of us think? I think the term is poning. Sadly, which is also not a word, but there you go. I mean, if revengeance is a word now, then so is poning. Speaking of that, I noticed on Twitter that Critical Gamer made a post a little while back saying that revengeance is not a word. Yeah, the other day there. I didn't actually go through and see what it was all about, but I had a little. Therefore, you're not allowed to review it. I'm not reviewing it. You're not reviewing the article. I'm reviewing the tweet. How does that sound? Okay, do it then. Okay. Oh, was that it? That was it. Oh,
That wasn't a review at all. I was just bringing it up.
I should just say that Marmite tastes like Bovril.
What does Bovril taste like?
Marmite. So which console do you think is like? This is predictions part of the podcast, I guess.
This kind of ties in with people now assuming that at E3 this year, Sony and Microsoft are going to be revealing a new console.
See, on the one hand, there seems to be this huge rumor mill about that happening, but on the other, both companies have stated that the life cycles for both consoles are supposed to be in the 7-year margin at least.
But that's kind of a non sequitur, isn't it? Because the PS2 is still technically doing sales, but they revealed the PS3, etc.
That's true, but I think that was like they were forced into it for the hardcore gamers. I think the PS2 still appealed like it was like the Wii for people, wasn't it? It was like people that weren't necessarily gamers had PS2s because it was a DVD player, and there were, I think, to be honest, things like SingStar did an awful lot for the sales of the PS2.
That's a horrible fact.
It's not a fact.
I thought on this podcast we state things as fact, whether or not they actually are.
Fact.
Songstar
games sell console.
Songstar saved the PS2. Why not?
Fact. Capcom killed Santa, and you won't get any presents next year. This year. Next year.
They did. They stabbed him with a Devil May Cry box art. Ugh.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Have you seen the box art for the next Devil May Cry game?
I have, and I don't understand why people are nitpicking about that rather than what they're letting that new development team do to Dante. I don't give a rat's ass what a box looks like, apart from the Uncharted 2 Japanese box art, which is terrifying. I showed you that. Do you know?
Yes,
it is bloody terrifying. I don't even want to see what they did with the third one, but the second one, look it up because it is bloody terrifying.
Is it? I'm kind of interested.
It looks like American Adventure Man goes exploring. That's what it looks like. Think of that phrase when you look at it.
I'm just looking up the one for. Their one for number 3 is exactly the same.
Oh dear. Oh wait, you mean it's the same as what we have here?
Yes, yeah, I'm looking at the second one for the Japanese one. It does.
It is frightening. I can't look at it. It's like listening to those pig things in Old Republic. I just can't do it.
Now, interestingly, it's hand drawn, isn't it, as opposed to.
Yeah.
And this brings me on to something completely un-gaming related.
Are you aware that we never actually answered Noodle's question? just throwing that out there.
Yeah, all right, let's go back to that then.
Very quickly, I would say that this may be the year that Nintendo dies, depending on how successful the Wii U is. And if the Wii U is successful, it'll give them another year or two at most. As far as Microsoft and Sony go, I think they'll just be even again.
They're not even. The 360 well outstripped the PS3 in sales in 2011.
Well, I would say that was down to Sony being attacked. That had a large influence on that.
Fair enough. I think that if the Wii U comes with competitive graphics, then it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. But it won't. So the whole thing is just going to belly flop, and they're not going to. It's not like the Wii where they had that sort of funny niche for a while. They don't have that this time.
Because it's not a niche anymore because everybody's doing it.
Yeah, and nobody cares about the little tablet thing. That's not gonna work for people. So I think they will just die. So I'm okay with that.
So am I. I think Nintendo's days passed.
Yeah.
Apart from handhelds, if they stuck with just handhelds, I'd be okay with that.
They obviously just did a Capcom and decided, you know what, we're not going to pay attention to what people actually give us as feedback. We'll just do what the hell we think. And
they got a book in the mail from Capcom called Satanic Rituals and Worshipping Satan. They started reading that, and they took their marketing plan from it.
How to fuck people off in 5 easy steps.
And in the front cover it says author A Bear. I don't know what the A stands for, but So what was the right thing you were going to move on to as we crawl to the end of this podcast?
Well, we were looking at the Uncharted 3 box art and noticing that the Uncharted 2 box art was hand-drawn. I didn't know this recently, but the Polish cinema posters aren't the same as the ones that we get. Now, we get these big glossy sort of action-packed ones, and they get ones that are like hand-drawn and they're completely different.
Is that true? Where did you hear about this?
It's not something I've heard about. It's just fact.
Is this a fact that you're stating as fact or a genuine fact?
No, it is a genuine fact.
It is a genuine.
Google Polish movie posters, and you'll be able to.
I'm putting you to the test right now. Right now, I'm Polish movie posters and Polish movie posters. There's a book on it apparently.
Yeah, because they're just weird.
It's a skull with a target drawn on it.
They're just strange.
Jesus, these are frightening.
They're weird, aren't they?
They are.
And now you can see where I went to this from your talking about Uncharted.
Bloody hell, there's one of John Wayne and looks like a witch hunter.
See if you can find the one for Boogie Nights.
What? The one for Cabaret is terrifying. Bloody hell. Look at this. I know we're still recording.
Yeah, I can see it. It's like legs and a swastika. Yeah.
Yeah, with a screaming face in the middle. What the hell? I mean, I know Liza Minnelli is ugly, but Jesus Christ.
They're pretty weird, aren't they?
That is... I can't look at that anymore.
So I think this would be a good opportunity for people to send in what they think is their best or worst Polish movie posters.
If there's any Polish people listening.
Or not, just go Googling it. It's fun.
I'd rather people didn't, because if I get ill looking at these. But send in something else.
Some of them aren't too bad. Some of them are actually all right.
You say that, but...
Well, have a look at what I just linked you there. That's quite cool.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, it's good.
Okay, what is this for? This is for... Oh, the Imperium Kontraskuskive. Which is the Empire Strikes Back, I'm guessing.
How about that?
That's all right. It's a bit like a pop art ATST walking along.
That's quite a good one that I've sent you there as well. That's for...
Star Wars movie poster. This is for...
It'd be for Return of the Jedi.
Powered Jedi.
When you're finished bastardizing the Polish language...
Is Darth Vader's head exploding? That is quite good. Okay.
It's quite good. So, yeah, send in your thoughts on which ones you think are your favourites or the worst ones. And as always, send in any questions or comments to braingohurty@gmail.com.
Yes. And now this is us wrapping up. I have another fact to share.
Oh,
a real general one. I've got a good one and a really bad one. So which would you like to hear first?
Let's hear the good one first. Let's end on a piece of shit.
Okay. The good one is 202, as per usual. And it is that Futurama is the most critically acclaimed animation show on television, which is not too bad an award to get, considering it was cancelled by Fox in their infinite wisdom. It just shows that they were wrong.
Critically acclaimed, did they mean like in terms of like number of awards, or just by what people have rated it?
The average review for the 6th season, which is the one after being cancelled, was 80 out of 100, which is the most critically acclaimed of every TV show.
Animated TV show, you mean?
I don't know. Animated. Sorry, yes, animated.
I imagine that something like House would probably be higher than in...
Yeah, House is the most watched program in the world, apparently.
Which is good, because I like it. Anyway, what's the worst?
The worst one, I assume this is worse, just judging by the picture of the people who are from it. It's something about Glee.
Oh, God.
They were...
In fact, I'm just going to hit stop now.
No! People have to know. Stars of the musical TV show Glee were excited to learn that they'd made it into the Guinness Book of World Records. What for, do you think? Most tedious TV program? Most likely to make you throw up? No, for most simultaneous tracks debuting in the UK chart. There were 5 in January.
Well, they're
5 at once, I assume it means. That's why nobody takes the music industry in this country seriously.
But they're covers. That doesn't count. You can't say, we had 5 number ones. Yeah, 5 number ones somebody else fucking wrote.
How do you mean they're cover? Oh, they're doing other...
That's all. That's all their songs are. It's songs that already exist. You never wonder why, like Journey and stuff have suddenly been getting a lot of like play recently. It's because it was covered in that show.
So they're not actually talented. They're just doing covers of.
They do songs. Covers of songs that are already popular or have already been popular, and then suddenly everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I like that song. Yeah, that's good." And then it suddenly gets them in the charts.
Have they done anything by Queen or ABBA?
Possibly.
Probably.
I don't pretend to know an awful lot about it, so
I'm surprised you didn't pretend to know nothing about it, quite frankly, because I've done your street cred no favours.
Picked up a few bits and pieces from the people I used to live with.
They weren't of the straight variety.
No, they weren't.
Anyway, YouTube, Gmail, website, Steam group. Bye bye.